Hello, everyone. My name is Quinn. I'm Quinn PC. I am so happy that you all are joining us today for our first ever blog post and blog for PC training for theoffice.com. We have so much to go through today, and I hope you're excited. Let's get started. Welcome to our session on how to mail merge from Excel to Word. Although we have some other cool things for you today, this is the basis. A lot of people think that mail merging can only be used for mailing labels and envelopes. There are so many different uses for mail merge, and it actually makes things a lot easier in the office. And the whole purpose of PC training for the office.com is to get us in the office working efficiently and working smarter and not harder so that we can maintain a work-life balance. All right, let's get started. So, I'm actually going to start you with a pretty basic mail merge just to set the foundation, and then we'll move on to some other neat tricks. Okay, so I set up this sample. It's a very small sampling of names and addresses. They're all made up. No personal information is being given out here. So, I'm going to start with this data set of about 8 people, and we're going to bring it over into an Avery mailing label, which is your regular size mailing label for an envelope, for a letter size envelope. And this will be your Avery, probably 5160. Now, I went on to Avery.com to download a template, so when we're working through the mail merge, you'll notice that we can skip through a few steps because we do not have to create the label in Word or publish or anything like that because we've already downloaded it. So we're going to go into mailings, and this is how we start our mail merge. Like I said, we can skip over create because we already have our template here. Now, I would advise you to, once you download your template from Avery.com, you know all those steps that you had to go through when you downloaded this one. So go ahead and save the blank template before you do any merging. Go ahead and save it to your desktop or into a folder, maybe title it templates, so you don't have to go through that same thing on Avery.com again, okay? All right. So we're going to skip over create. We're going to skip start mail merge because that takes us through a step-by-step. It kind of dictates your movements. We don't want that, right? Because we're the experts. We're the boss of our desk, our computer, our office, and we know what we're doing. So we're going to go to select recipients. We're going to use an existing list because we already have that created. We're going to select the mail merge sample that I showed you a little bit ago. We're going to open, and this is where some people get tricked up in the beginning. So we know that the Excel file that we have was pretty basic. We don't have more than one sheet. The only information in that workbook, which is really only a worksheet, is the information that we need. So we'll make sure we select sheet 1, and then we know that the first row of data contains column headers. Now, if you have data that maybe omits this information here, then you want to make sure you deselect that option so that you can make sure you grab all of your data. But but like I said, you you don't have any, your first row here is labels, so you're going to make sure that you let Word know that the first row of data contains column headers, okay? I'm going to select OK. Now, this is where the fun begins. We're not going to select any of these address blocks or greeting lines. Um, I like to do mine myself and maintain my own formatting. So that's what we're going to do here. We're going to insert a merge field, okay? And so you might notice that this is one of the most important things about making sure that you actually have your Excel file labeled. Okay, make sure you understand the labels. Make sure you label your columns exactly what they are because it really helps you in the long run. Okay, and by long run I mean when you go to mail merge this puppy, because you want to make sure you have all the data fields in the correct place. Okay, so basically it's going to be a mailing label. So first name you select and you see it pops up on your screen. You put a space, because however you put it here, formatting is how it's going to show up as a final product. So then you put your last name. Now if you wanted to, you can put information before first name or anywhere in here. Say if you wanted to do last name first with a comma in the middle, so you would put the last name, comma, space, first name, and when you merge it over, or when you finish the merge, that comma space will show up on every single label. Okay, so that's something to keep in mind. All right, you can even put, sometimes when you send mail out, you want to put attention. The only data that is going to change is the data that's in between these double arrows, which are your fields. Anything on the label, this attention, is going to remain the same, especially the way I do it, because we're going to just copy paste. Okay. Now, we're going to leave the attention there. I kind of like that. We're mailing to businesses, so that's important. We're going to put address 1. We're going to space because we don't know how long that line is going to be. And we want it to be clean. We're going to do city, comma, space, state, space, zip. Okay? So, we can kind of cheat here and preview what it's going to look like by pressing the preview results up here. Okay, so attention, Lucy Pearl, 123 Anywhere Lane, Suite 23, My Town, LA. Okay, so you can go back into your file to make sure the information is correct. And a little trick here, if you want to compare the data, you can right click on this bar down here and stack your windows, show windows stacked. Okay, so you can compare the data just to make sure the integrity of the data remains the same. So Lucy Pearl 173, you check it and all the information is good, so we're golden. Okay, so in order to break that stack, you would just maximize your screen. Okay, so you can take off the preview results, and this is where things might get tricky for people. Currently, as it stands, when you go to print these, it'll print one per sheet, and you can tell that it's going to print one label per sheet by going up to the top after you press preview results and clicking on the arrows to see how many pages would be created once we finish this merge. And you don't want that to happen. So you want to make sure that you add rules in to let the sheet know that, okay, there's only 8 labels that I need. I'm not going to use 8 label sheets to print 8 labels. We want everything to come out on one label sheet, okay? So I'm going to remove the preview results because it kind of confuses me. And we are going to come over here to the next label and hit the next record. Okay, so you put in next record and you notice that when you preview results, nothing's showing up. That's because you need to repeat this data. Okay, so what I did was I highlighted the data. I did a Control C to copy, and after where it says next record, we're going to do a Control V to paste. Okay, I can show you that again rather quickly. So in every box except for the first one, you're going to have the next record there. Okay, the next record needs to go in the beginning so that when you preview results, it's not repeating data. So watch this. If I take out the next record by highlighting and pressing backspace and I preview the results, you have Lucy Pearl twice. Okay, so you have to tell the system that it's actually the next record. You get it? Okay. Okay, so you see here where it says next record. We're basically going to go in and copy and paste that. We only have about 10 different labels, or did we say 7? I have about 7 different labels, so we're gonna fill in 9, just to make sure everything's covered. And then we'll click preview, and we'll see that it shows up. I actually kind of tricked you guys. Instead of recording in another screen, so the attention is no longer there for my observant people that may have noticed that. But we're still doing the same thing here. Okay, so when we go to preview, we see that everything shows up. Now we're going to finish the merge. Okay, we're going to go over to finish and merge, and we're going to edit individual documents. I never go straight to print. You always want to make sure everything lines up properly. There's just so many things that can happen. We are dealing with a computer. There's just so many things that can happen. So you always want to get the option to edit the individual documents first. So you select that and you want to merge all records, and then a whole nother file will open up at the top. It'll be named letters, and those are your labels there, and you would just send it to your printer. Make sure that your label paper is there and ready. You can print to, and I also recommend printing just one page to a blank piece of paper. And depending on your printer settings, you can go over to print, and instead of doing print all pages, just print the current page to a blank piece of paper, and kind of do that thing where you hold the paper and the labels together underneath the light to make sure everything is lined up properly before you go ahead and you print everything. You always want to make sure we're not wasting materials and wasting resources and things like that. Okay, so that is the basics on how you do a mail merge. Now, I wanted to show you how to do a mail merge in Word without using Excel. So, you notice we're going to go up here. We're going to work out of this same document, and we can go ahead and delete the information that we just put in here. We're going to go to mailings, and we're going to go to select recipients. However, we're not going to use an existing list. You would select to type a list. So if you just had a few people that you wanted to put in here, maybe you don't want to deal with Excel at all, you would just go ahead and type the information straight into Word. Okay, so Miss PC, um, PC training for the office, 123, anywhere lane, okay, and then, make sure everything is looks good, okay. Let's just put in another one real quick here. Let's do, it works quicker, bro. This is my son, guys. He's 1 year old. Let me see. And then we're going to be at the same address. So I'm going to kind of show you what it looks like. So we're going to tab all the way over, and we're going to put in a test, tab all the way over, and fun, fun, fun. Okay, I'm going to hit OK. So now it's going to give us an option to save it. So we can save it to the desktop, and I'm going to save it as test, save. We're going to insert merge fields. It gave us all the fields that we're going to use. Okay, so we have to add a space. Remember how you put it in is how it's going to show up. And we're going to do last name. We're going to do space. We're going to enter the company name. We're going to do enter. Sign 1. Enter. Sign 2. Enter. We're going to do city. Okay, so this is an example of when you would print it on a blank piece of white paper and check to see if everything lines up properly. You have a lot of data in here in this one small label. Now, where I work, we actually have a mailroom, and the woman that works in my room, lovely lady, she does not care if you have to use 6-point font. She doesn't want anything carrying over, and she wants all the necessary information there. Actually, we do a lot of international mail, And often we have a couple extra lines because she likes for the bottom of the mailing label to have the country name. So she doesn't care if it's like 6 point font, as long as all the information's there. Okay, so now we're gonna go over. I'm gonna do the same thing we did the last one, to the next record, and then we're going to copy paste. Okay, now this carried over, but what I want you, it carried over. You see some of the information has disappeared, but what I want you to remember is when we finalize this, that next record is not going to show. So title, first name, last name will probably show up on the same line, but if you just want to check, you can just do a quick preview results and you can see how that looks there. Okay, so we're going to copy this label and we're going to do a paste. All right, Control C, Control V into that next label. Control V, Control V, Control V. Now we only did like three, right? I always go crazy when it's time to do the copy paste. Okay, and so now you finish and merge, edit individual documents, and print it out, guys. Okay, so the next order of business is to show you guys how to create mailing labels on different mediums, and might as well take off the word mailing, just how to create labels. So in my last position, before I started working at this company, I was basically the overseer for an entire training site. We had a lot of equipment that needed to be used and disseminated on a daily basis. People taking laptops and such on trips, and we had a lot of outside participants or clients coming in and using laptops. So everything needed to be properly labeled. I mean, we had like 200 or 300 of these laptops. And every so often, we would get upgrades to be relabeled. So I just wanted to show you guys an easy way because I told you before, mail merge is so much more than just mail. So I'm going to show you an easy way to set up labels so that the day will just go by quicker, right? Because that's what we want, to work smarter and not harder, is to get things done quickly, but also to make sure that we're being efficient at the same time. So I've set up a basic spreadsheet here, and there are no labels at the top. It's just desktop, which means just desktop PC or computer, um, and then the number it is, and then the last name of the person. And let's go in and let's add labels. Just gonna do a quick insert, and we're gonna do PC type, PC number, and then last name. Okay, and let's differentiate that by making it bold and underline. We're also gonna center. Give that space. I'm a bit of a perfectionist, guys. Okay, so we're going to save this, and it's already saved to the desktop. We're going to come over into Word for replace to get rid of this place. So we're going to find that and replace with blank space. So replace all. Did you guys see how I did that? Um, I don't know if there's a quick way, to go in and delete the information without also deleting the cool little backpack that's there, which I think is so cute. So we did a find to find the text that's in there, place text here, and we're just going to replace it with blank space. And we did a replace all, and we saw that it removed everything that we didn't want. Okay, so now let's go into mailings, select recipient, use existing list, desktop, labels, open, sheet 1, first row of data contains column headers, and then we're going to go in and we're going to put our information. So we have a PC type, and then here we're going to put the PC number, and we're going to enter and put the last name underneath. Isn't that cool? So now we can just enter the information over here, and in front of this next record, and then we're going to make sure we select everything in there and just paste it down the line, preview the results. Okay, so now you have some really easy labels to go ahead and put on the desktops, okay? And they do have labels that are easy to remove. I used to order them all the time. Um, so that when it's time to change the label, you can just go ahead and remove that label and put the new one on. There are plenty of other ways to mail merge. I would love it if you guys would just leave a comment down below and let me know what are some ways in which you mail merge in your office, or you use the merge feature in order to make your day better, and really help to reduce the stress, because when we find these faster, quicker ways to do things, it really helps to reduce the stress in the office. If there are some things that you do that you think might benefit from a merge, if anybody wants to learn how to create certificates, if you do certificates often, you can do that by mail merge. There's so many possibilities, guys. Just let me know in the comments what you would like help with. And you would just finish the same way. Edit individual documents, press OK, and then you would go to print. Use my trick to print it on the white paper and then line it up old school like under the light to make sure that it fits. Okay, thank you everyone for tuning in to How to Mail Merge from Excel to Word. I really hope you all enjoyed, and we'll see you next week.